Oh, hi everybody. Welcome back to Office Hours with me, Fr Stu Wilson Smith of the Paulist Fathers, here at the St. Thomas More Newman Center, the Catholic Campus Ministry for the Ohio State University. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're having a good week there, eh? And getting set to take a little time off this weekend. Hope you are preparing some time to rest, relax, take it easy, enjoy the Sabbath day on Sunday, so on and so forth, etc., etc. I am all right. We had a nice week last week here at the Newman Center. It was Paulist Week. So that was a lot of fun. Each night, basically, we did something Paulist-oriented to emphasize, lift up the Paulist spirituality here. As I mentioned, I am a Paulist father, a member of the Missionary Society of St. Paul the Apostle, the priest who staffed this here Newman Center. So it was a nice time to reflect on Father Hecker. We had Father Tom Gibbons come in from Los Angeles, and he showed his film, Isaac Hecker, a documentary, to us, and that was a wonderful thing. He preached to us that weekend, so we got to hear some more about the Paulists there. And this past weekend, we had Father Dautran, vocation director of the Paulist Fathers, and he was here just ahead of, now he's starting the Come and See retreat. The Paulist Come and See retreat is happening in Washington, D.C. So let's keep the 8 men who are there in prayer as they continue their discernment. So it was great to have Father Dot to kind of bookend this wonderful Paulist week. So, what are we talking about next? I have to look at my programming notes. I have programming notes now. This is something I do now to keep this. I want this to be as professional, as possible, as it always has been. Actually, quite the opposite. I think this is getting more casual as we go along. Hopefully, goodness knows if there's one thing I need, it's to loosen up and take it easy. So one tradition I think I'm going to start here on the office hours, good old-fashioned, multi-structured office hours, is the tea of the month. The tea of the month is a new tradition I'm starting. Don't know if you knew this about me or how you would know this about me. I like tea. I enjoy tea. I like to drink tea of various types and sorts. And I usually have a good cuppa going on here in the office. I like to make use of my coaster. I know this is frustrating. Whenever I show you something here, it comes out reversed, but this is also, which I'll solve eventually. I'm sorry about that, but I'll solve it. Montreal Canadiens coaster. I use that. Assortment of cups. Very simple cup today. And so I'm ready to announce the tea of the month. And I'm going to drink this every office hours for the rest of the month, so get ready for that. This month's tea of the month is as follows. Plantation Mint by Bigelow. I like the work they do. I mean, I've certainly tried most of their flavors. And to be honest, I have tried this, but it's been at least maybe 2 or 3 years since I've actually picked one up. And so I've got one now. And let's do a little test. So it's going to be like a little mini review almost. And again, this is Plantation Mint. Let's go. Right. So having taken a moment to properly appreciate that. Oh, interesting. Yeah, okay. Oh, lost the sheet. It's good. It's good. It's not as minty, it's not as aggressively minty as some of your other teas out there. It is more of like a black tea, which would surprise you, or at least it's darker in color. I've had a mint before that was almost like really pale and just kind of had like a pepperminty sort of thing. This isn't as pepperminty as it is like a spearmint. I think the description even says, fresh and flavorful tea blended with natural spearmint leaves. Does that make sense? So I would describe it, it's a good winter tea. It has a crispness, and yet there's something about the mint that sort of wakes you up just a little bit. So I may not drink this too late into the evening. Yeah, I tend to use the chamomile for those purposes. All right, well, this jumping the shark here, I think. No, we're going to stick with the tea. I'm going to keep this tradition up if it's the last thing I do. If you have a suggestion for tea of the month, please add it to the comments or email or tweet at me, and I will consider trying it. And if we have so many suggestions that, there's just all kinds of things to try, I may even switch to tea of the week. I don't know. All right. Well, look, I had an interesting question. This is an issue, actually more of an issue that came up, not so much wasn't something somebody had written to me, though I do have a few of those to use. So it's this question: should Catholics be on social media? And they were thinking especially like in an evangelizing sort of context. So like I was talking to somebody who wanted to be an effective evangelist. They wanted to be, kind of like out where the people are, like St. Paul. And the Paulists obviously value that. We do a lot of media work. So like it was basically, do I need to set up a Twitter account, or do I need to set up an Instagram or a Snapchat or whatever? Well, first of all, I don't have a Snapchat. I'm not sure if I'm ever going to get into that, but that's a matter of discernment. You've got to figure those things out with the Spirit. So I can't answer this question like in a general way. I think each person, honestly, has got to really answer it for themselves. And if you're willing, I would say at least try it, see what it's like to kind of be out there. There are positives and negatives, and a lot of it depends on what else is going on in your life and your background. I can speak to what some of the values I've gotten out of it. So like just being on Twitter since 2010, I like that I've been exposed to a lot of different ways of thinking. And I've really kind of forced myself to follow people I know I probably don't really agree or get along with. I would hope and wish that we'd all, kind of do more of that. I don't act them. I don't mention them constantly and say, hey, I think you're wrong, and write in bold letters, and I don't, or anything like that. I just read and observe and kind of take in what's happening. In some cases, I may, if I am part of a conversation, it's not to just kind of go on the offensive or something like that. So it's been really valuable that way, just to kind of read out and try to have some appreciation of how other people are thinking and living their lives and other perspectives. It's really great for that. There's so many people I wouldn't know anything about if I wasn't on Twitter. I've been away from Instagram. I shouldn't say away from it. I don't know if I ever got into the habit that some people have of taking quite as many pictures. I might take another swing at it maybe sometime soon. But anyway, to the question of like, should Catholics be on it? I can't answer that. There's no ethical reason that I can conceive of. But again, you have to kind of look at yourself and say, is this a source of encouragement? Am I fed by this? Am I having good positive interactions? Am I also having, moments that maybe challenge me, but in a healthy way? Or is this just a constant source of frustration and despair? Where every conversation I have, I'm misunderstood, the person misunderstood me, and we're not getting anywhere. That happens too. If that's you, I don't think St. Paul, the great evangelist, is going to be upset that you logged off of Twitter, because what good are we if we're just kind of, despairing and pessimistic and, are unable to live, be as fruitful anymore, So it's like, it's really a tough call. Just discern, think about it, see what is going on in terms of consolation and desolation and whatever spiritual terms you want to use to assess. So there you go, my usual non-direct answer. What was the one other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, it's funny that there's a lot of people who are like on Twitter, who many of us probably wish weren't on Twitter. That's true. But there are people, I have to say, who aren't on these things, and I wish they were, because I meet them and I'm like, man, you're so fascinating. I'd love to hear more about what you're thinking. I wish, we had more access to you and your thoughts. I got to say that happens from time to time, but other times it doesn't. People may be saying that about me. The inverse, I mean. I wish you would get off Twitter. What are you talking about your favorite tea? Just got a question. Thank you, Thomas. I appreciate that. What do I think of iced tea? I love iced tea. I don't drink it as frequently. Next month's tea of the month may be a passion fruit tea, which is interesting. I've only ever had that in iced tea form up till now. Usually at Panera, when I approach and I go for my weird iced tea at Panera, I often get the hibiscus variety, whatever it's called, the purple one. I've never had that hot. I've never had the hot version. Isn't that strange? So yeah, no, iced tea is good. Y'all are kind of there's a lot of luxury here in America. You go to your average like casual chain and you usually have those two big jugs of iced tea. You don't really necessarily get that in Canada, where of course I'm from, and I talk to my friends and they're jealous. So please appreciate the iced tea that you have and strive to enjoy it, okay? That's an important lesson. It's a spiritual lesson for today. All right, folks, so look, send me questions or comments or anything that you want to see discussed here. We have some special treats coming up for you this month, including a special edition of Office Hours. And boy, it's going to be a treat with a group here on campus. So I hope to do more of that, have a few special guests. So otherwise, apart from the questions, tea suggestions, I'm open, okay? I've tried a lot of things, but others I haven't. So it's all good. All right. God bless you all for now. Peace.